Welcome to the Curi-YAAS podcast, the podcast that says yes to cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. I'm your trans woman host, Billy. Um, yeah, so it's been a couple weeks since I've been an episode, but here I am. It's middle of March. Um, so this episode that's coming out right now with Daniela. Daniela is somebody who I considered a close friend, someone who I've known for about a year or so, someone who I've had, lots of long, deep, hard conversations with. Um, and on Valentine's Day, we went out at night, and she had asked to do an episode of the podcast. Um, so that's what this is. I've been holding back on it. Just I've probably for selfish reasons mostly. Um, I after listening to the episode or I don't know, after experiencing it and the fallout that's happened after it, um, I did lose her as a friend the next day. So that really, really hard, and that's a lot of the reason why I've been kind of holding off on releasing this. But also I've been really reflecting on how I acted and how I let, some of the inner worst parts of me out. Like my insecurities. I push my insecurities out on her and that's just not fair. Um but I really do I feel like there's still a lot of good message in this episode. And I still love Daniela. I still have deep respect for her, still much love. And I wish her well in all of her future endeavors. Um, but in the meantime, things are going a bit crazy in this world. And a couple of the things that I feel like that I was really pushy on was self-care, like just taking care of yourself, just your basic needs to just so you're not at a super depressive level. Um, like basic needs go a long way. But you'll hear. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to say with this intro. I this Curi-YAAS conversation was never meant to be a continued conversation. I was really hoping that this was going to be more like general Curi-YAAS episodes where, I introduce the guests and they open up to me and share a lot of their story. And I was a year on hiatus. I wasn't prepared for this. Would I still be prepared for it now? I don't know. Would I act the same way now? I don't know. Um, Unfortunately, this did sort of turn into one of those continued conversations. So there's gonna be a lot of just backstory and things that you're not aware of. I'm not trying to use that as an excuse for any of my harshness. Um, I'm trying to push this as tough love, and that's I feel like that sounds fucked up to say because I don't want to be gatekeeper. I don't want to be that person. But there I kind of was. Um, but yeah. Anyway, please take care of yourself and you know much love. Enjoy. Maybe.
Yes. Curi-YAAS Podcast, which is Mirasol and Billy.
Welcome to the Curi-YAAS Podcast, a podcast that says yas, cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. Today's special guests are these squirrels that are going up and down these fucking trees. Oh, and this dog. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted. I'm about to redo this. There's like 2 squirrels up there waiting for that dog to go after them. Okay, I'm starting again. Welcome to the Curi-YAAS Podcast, a podcast that says yas to cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. I'm your trans woman host, Billy. It's officially and legally Billy now. It's been... Well, I don't know why I'm looking at you. You don't know. I've kind of been on hiatus, I guess, from the podcast for a little over a year now. I think the last time I was really on here was talking with Cade. And I really wish Cade well. I hope they're doing well. But anyway, we'll talk about me later. But I do want to introduce a very special guest in today's lovely Park View in lovely Southern California. Today's very special guest is Daniela. Daniela, would you like to introduce yourself, please? And speak loud and clearly so that we can hear you.
You make me laugh. Hi, my name is Daniela, trans woman, she, her. So, just talk about anything.
Tell me about yourself. I don't know anything about you. You're a trans woman. Your name's Daniela.
Well, I was born in Peru back a long time ago, like 29 years ago. When I was 10, I moved to America, technically Houston, Texas. And the reason I moved here because I was born with heart problems and I needed like best medical so I can, survive basically.
Good medical care.
Yeah. I had 4 heart surgeries so far in my life. 2 of them was in Brazil when I was 1 and 4, and then 18 when I was in Houston, and recently when I was 26, 27 here in LA. Yeah, I went to middle school, high school, and elementary in Houston, and then summer of 2017, like late June, I moved to LA. Yeah. Any more topics?
Well, as this is a podcast about cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender, and you are a trans woman, you're the special guest on the podcast about cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. Let's talk about your either cross-dressing, sexuality, or gender. How did you come to accept your transness? Do you accept your transness? Do you fully accept your transness? What does that mean to you? How did you come to that conclusion in your journey? Tell me more about your journey. I know nothing about you. The audience knows nothing about you besides that you're 29 from Peru who's had multiple heart surgeries and you're a trans woman. But tell us more about you. Like who are you? What are you? What shaped you? What events in your life shaped you?
I remember this thought I had when I was living in Peru, kind of like age of 6 perhaps. I knew I was born with the wrong body. Like my body parts should not be there, basically. And I was like,
Speak up.
completely forgot about that thought that I had for literally all my life until the age of 25. So about like 20 years later, I was watching Instagram videos of like many transgender people, how they figure out who they are, and I saw uh, this trans woman saying that she had a thought that she was born in the wrong body, and then I realized I had the same thing. I was like, wait, am I trans?
So you're 29 now, and you say you first started watching Instagram videos, and that's what sparked the questioning about it. Even, I mean, you said you had the experience as a child, possibly 6 years old. So was there no... How old were you when you started doing the Instagram videos? Like, was there anything in between that? Was there just like blank space? Was there any other media or websites that you would go to? I know, like, for myself, when I was young, I was on all kinds of websites. Like, I remember, I just I don't have a very visual memory, but I have very like vivid memories of certain websites that I would frequent, and like certain people that I would see, and like for me they were very inspirational, even at a young age. So how old were you when you did the Instagram? Because that Instagram's fairly recent-ish. I know I'm showing my age here because you're young. You're a baby.
Some might consider that I'm young, but I do consider myself old, but whatever.
You say that now, but give it 8 years or 10 years.
My back is already hurting. Well, I started watching like a lot of Instagram videos during my young adulthood, so like 20s maybe.
So early 20s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still do.
How did you stumble on those videos? Were you searching topics, or were just like the algorithm just kind of knows you, or
The algorithm. Because I never knew about the LGBTQ. No one taught me about that until like basically educated myself about it. So like when I was start watching about other people's stories of their LGBTQ community, I was like, oh cool, you know, I support them, but I didn't know that I could be possibly to be trans until the age of 25, which is like a mid 20s.
so in that time between 20 and 25, did you ever, I mean, I don't even want to say just necessarily in that time frame, but I know for myself and a lot of other trans folks that I've talked with, a lot of their like experiences growing up is like cross-dressing or having some form of that. Has that ever been a part of your journey?
Not really.
How have you explored your gender besides Instagram videos?
Once I figured out that I was trans, like my egg cracked, I was like, now what? I didn't know what. Never heard of anything else. So I never heard of like HRT, I never heard of like surgeries, I never heard of like, I heard about binders, but that's like for trans men or non-binary. It was like that, not so. We're just investigating.
So how did you make the conclusion to acceptance of being trans? Because it's something a lot of folks like struggle with for many, many, many years, and even if it's something they've known about, like I've known about that stuff for myself forever, for my whole life, and it took me a long time to accept it, despite me like knowing about things and being like fairly well researched. To me, it's just very fascinating that you're able to just change on a dime from an Instagram video or Instagram videos.
Yeah.
Like, how do you explore your gender? Like, what does that look like? And please be specific and speak up. Because if you know a secret to like being accepting of yourself, like please share it with people, because people need to know that secret.
I just accepted who I am, basically. Like, I don't need no one tell me what how to accept myself, or like tell me who I am. I know myself than everybody. So when I was watching those videos and I had a conclusion that I had the same thoughts as them when I was a kid, I was like, that gotta be, So when I came out as a transgender, I was like, oh, okay.
So it's been, how long have you been since you've come out?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. So about the same amount of time I have. And you're very sure of yourself. Because I really want to unpack this, because you say that I'm lying, I know, Daniela. But you say this all the time, that you're very, very sure of yourself. You know who you are. Yet you still live double life.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, okay. At the age of 25, I was starting. My parents didn't accept me who I was at the time, and it still isn't. But I moved to North Hollywood with a roommate. That's another story for another time.
No, this is the story. We're telling it right now. There's no other time. This is the fucking story.
I mean, like,
tell it. Go detail and speak up so we can hear you. Because I'm here right face to face and I can barely hear you. And I'm trying to be nice. Like, speak up, please.
The relationship I had with my roommate was a different topic from this transition topic. So I would say, like, one time I came back to my parents' house wearing a wig, and my mother fainted, and she went to an ER after that. So I realized I could not be myself around my parents. So when I got back to my parents' house, leaving back to my parents' house, I knew that I had to live a double life just to have a roof under my head. Because I've been homeless before for speaking up about my gender in my parents' house. So yeah, I do live a double life because I prefer living under a roof under my head rather than being homeless. So. Even though it's depressing, living a double life, yes, but
I see a huge disconnect between everything you're telling me. I know there's the fears of homelessness and your parents accepting you and your mom fainting and all that stuff. I get it. But like, if you know who you are and you're sure of who you are you really sure? Because you're not. You're living two lives. I know who I am. Took me a while to get there, but I know who I am. And I'm authentic to every person that I'm with. I'm me. I don't live double life. That shit's exhausting. Been there. You've changed your name too, right? Like legally?
Yeah. Social Security and driver license.
So, and people still dead name you with your old name.
Oh, just my parents. That's it. Those two. But everyone in LA County knows me as Daniela.
What about other family members?
I barely see them, so.
Well, I'm not asking if you barely see them. I'm asking how do they refer to you as?
Well, for safety reasons, it's better if I stay in the closet when I'm around the rest of the family members. That's only seen like once or twice a year, so it doesn't bother me as much.
So is that gonna go on for your whole life? Like, what's your plan with this? Like, I'm trying to picture it like the story doesn't play out in my mind. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
Eventually I do want to...
like, you've already legally changed your name. You've changed your gender or sex on your social security card. Like, you've done the legal shit. You're even... secrets of the podcast, I guess, but you have prescribed hormones, so you are on HRT. Whether or not you're taking them or not, that's a whole other conversation. We will definitely get there later, because I definitely want to talk about that. But like, I can't comprehend how you can take all these like very big steps and like concede so much, because these are big steps. Are you just doing them because they feel like the thing to do, or are you doing it because because you want to do them? Does that make sense? I'm not trying to be mean.
Well, I do.
I just don't know if these are questions you've asked yourself, because these are things that I've asked myself, and I've had years and years of thoughts.
I do want.
And as I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but as someone who's been through like 4 heart surgeries, and you know, that's a real, I don't know what heart condition you have, and you don't have to tell me, but you know, if you're having 4 heart surgeries already and you're 29 years old, how much life do you really have to live? And like, live authentically. And I know you're a person that wants to be a good, strong advocate for people, but how do you expect to be a strong advocate for people if you can't be a strong advocate for yourself?
Well, this double life is gonna be just temporarily, for like perhaps 2 or 3 years from now, until I get my bachelor's and my master's. Then I will move out, and I'll be able to live as Daniela more often.
More often or all the time? Because that still sounds like double life to me.
Well, if I want to visit my parents, then yes, I do have to be in the closet.
Why would you want to visit people that don't like you for who you are?
Perhaps I would just visit them just for like, you know, the
and
holidays.
Again, I just don't get it. Like, if you want to be a strong advocate, and like, I'm all for it. Please do. Please be a strong advocate. But you have to advocate for yourself. You have to. I'm dead serious about all this self-care talk that you and I talk about. I mean that stuff. Self-care is so freaking important. How do you expect to take care of anybody else if you can't take care of yourself?
Well, just, I guess, live and learn as I go, you know. What else?
Tell me more. Cause I'm really trying to piece your story and your psychic and your logic and all that stuff. I'm just trying to like piece it together. Because there are a lot of people that are struggling with their identities and gender, and especially given the political climate in the world and all these like anti-trans bills and stuff. Like, it's scary times. It is scary, and those things they're designed to make you be scared. They're designed to make you live in fear. And I get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, you're also very out and vocal about who you are. Typically, when people are living a double life, that double life is very secret and hidden. So which one of, like, who are you? Are you the real person when I talk with you? Like, I don't know. Like, who are you? Daniela, tell me, who are you?
Well, for everyone else, I am Daniela.
No, not for everyone else. Who are you to you? And please speak up. I mean that, as I can't hear you. I literally cannot hear you.
Well, how do I explain this?
In your own words. You explain it how you see, how you are, who you are, how you see yourself. Like, who are you? And I don't want to hear like how other people see. I want to know who you are to yourself, in your inner person. Like, who is the inner Daniela, or whatever you call yourself internally. I don't know. Like, who is Daniela? Who are you?
Well, one
Because,
word.
like, I'm sorry. I feel like you still don't know who you are. I feel like you're still questioning so much, but I feel like you've just jumped the gun a lot. Because I don't know, I just feel like you have so much self-work to do. And maybe it's just me projecting stuff. That's totally possible.
I'll say I'm an activist. More like LGBTQ activist and transgender activist.
Okay, no, not your... I don't want your skills, your hobbies, your professions. I want to know who you are. It's a deep question. And I feel like you haven't asked yourself that. Because you don't have a good answer. You don't have a very quick response, like, at all. Like, who are you? Tell me who you are. How do you identify? Like,
Well,
I identify as a trans woman. I'm 38 years old. I've lived my life for 35 years as a man, a cis man. I tried to do everything that I could do to be happy and you know, everything to possibly be a fucking man, but it's just not possible. For me, it's not possible. I'm a kind, caring person who just tries to be there for people when I can. I know who I am. Who are you?
I do have a lot of identities. Not just transgender woman, but also like bi, pan.
I'm not talking about sexualities, but please, you can share that too. But that's... people have lots of identities in that regard. But, like, who are you? Like, at the core. Do you know what I'm asking you? Like, deep down inside, like, who are you? Who is really aching to come out? So I guarantee you that person that's inside of you does not want to live double life. They don't like being pushed back into a closet or an egg or whatever. Not many people like that.
I definitely don't like living double life, but I don't have a choice right now until like 2-3 years from now. So I have to like adapt. I have to adapt my life for now. Be in a closet just for a little bit longer, I guess.
Okay, so then what do you do? What are some activities that you might do to help with gender dysphoria, assuming you have gender dysphoria? Like, what are some? How do you cope? Like, how do you reinforce that identity?
Well, at first when I experienced gender dysphoria, I had like it was affecting mentally and emotionally. So that's when I started gathering a therapist and taking medications and having support groups, which helped a lot. Until I realized that it's also affecting me, my body physically, which that I had to like stick with it. Like, too bad, I guess. I don't know.
Stick with what?
Still continue having physical gender dysphoria. So it's like still gonna affect my physical body, even I can't avoid it.
Okay, I definitely want to dig deeper into this. Not to disclose too much of your medical history, I do know that you're on HRT, but you're also not on HRT because you don't really take it very inconsistently.
Yeah.
That would probably help with a lot of the dysphoria if you would just take those. I mean, that's partially why they're prescribed. I know, crazy world, crazy idea. That would probably help a lot of the body issues that you might have, assuming you have the dysphoria for the body issues. Like, if these are like real things, like, why aren't you taking your meds, girl? It all goes down to self-care. Do you not care about yourself? Why don't you care about yourself? Regardless of the double identity shit, like, you're not even taking care of yourself at the basic needs. Your basic functions, your basic needs and function, like, take care of your core. You're always tired, you're always exhausted, you're always sleepy, you're always like, you always tell me you hate like the clothes you wear. Like, why don't you wear different clothes? There's things you could do in double life still like have somewhat of a feminine presentation, but not be like straight up woman. Dudes shave their faces, dudes have earrings, dudes wear colors.
I used to wear earrings, but that is gone because my family is very traditional Hispanic. So it was from generation to generation that only women can wear earrings, and only one earring. So none of my family that are males wear earrings.
Okay, and are you a male?
Well, to them, yes. So I cannot.
But no, I'm not asking to them. I'm asking about you to you.
I know. But
Are you a male? Are you a man?
I can't wear.
No,
earrings.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you right now, regardless of the earrings. I'm asking you, are you a man?
Well, obviously no.
Then why do you care about what the fuck they say? If you're a woman, you say you're a woman, why can't you wear those fucking earrings? If you are a woman, wear those fucking earrings.
Are they earrings or be homeless?
Why don't you wear earrings when you're outside of home? Why don't you do this stuff when you're outside of home? Because your double life just doesn't seem very double life to me. It just, to me, seems like you're very vocal about proclaiming stuff outside of your home life. Like, you do a lot of public things, but yet you're still so afraid to be public. That confuses the fuck out of me. I don't understand it. I know so many people that would be so afraid to proclaim that they're trans, or that they cross-dress, or that they wear dresses, or whatever, that they identify as some other way. Like, they're just so fucking deathly afraid to even say it. But yet they'll still go out and do things, like not in their community. But you're actively going out in your community and you're telling people, I am trans, I am a trans woman.
Yeah.
Do you not see this, like, confusion that I have? There's a huge disconnect. And I can't be the only one that sees it. I'm sure you see it too. What's the block? What's really the block? And don't tell me your parents, because it's inside you. Other people can only influence you so much. Because really, at the end of the day, it's like you are making your own decisions. You are doing what you think is right for you. Which this is what you want for your whole life. Like, I respect it, I guess. I'm still gonna call you out and question you on it. I hope you know. And it's all in love. Don't look at the dog. Or that guy. Look at me. Look at me. Focus on me.
I just love the dog. I want to pet him right now. And I guess I'm used to it. I don't know.
Like, I've seen you go on a stage in front of many people doing a name confirmation. Like, you have some strength behind you. You have, there is some lack of fear there. Yet you still have a huge wall of fear holding you back, and it's not just your parents. Because you're letting that fear hold you back outside of your parents' life. And don't tell me you're not, because I know you are. I see it. I hear it in your voice. I hear it every week when we're in group. I see a lot of my old self in you. Even that book that I gave you on transgender self-care, because that's something that you and I've really been trying to dig in your mind. What did I write in that prompt? Of like how did gender dysphoria affect me? It made me tired all the time, made me depressed, made me anxiety, made me feel like I wanted to be antisocial despite me being a very social person. How much of that do you relate to?
I do identify more introvert than extrovert, just a bit. So sometimes I do feel like being antisocial a little bit. The introvert side of me kicked in, and like I don't want to be around people. But then the extrovert side of me wants to like, hey, let's go say hi to this person, whatever. So I guess when I go to a new place, if I go there as much often as possible, I'll feel more comfortable. The more comfortable, I can be more myself. So at first, I probably will be like muted or be like, not talking as much until I get comfortable. And I will be able to have more fun and be able to talk more often. Been doing that all my life. I remember in school I did not talk. I remember in school I did not talk except for at home. So I was like, if I was comfortable at school, which I wasn't, but let's say I was, I'd probably be talking more.
I don't really see that issue in you, to be honest. I see you talking with lots of people, no problems, all the time, all kinds of places. I don't see that. There's still something holding you back, or some type of fear or doubt. There's something there. And I think you know it. You may not know what it is, but I think you know there's something there. And it's not just the homelessness. I'm just, a lot of this is just me thinking about myself. Like, I've lived double life. And then, even as out trans woman in regards, but in my non-dude life or lady life, or however you want to see it or call it, my authentic self, is how I'm going to call it, when I was in my authentic self life, like, I'm still showing up as fully me. I didn't want aspects of my other life to show up, because that, for me, that's the dysphoric stuff. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
You okay? Do you need to take a break? Do you need to breathe? Need to take a breather?
I'm okay.
Because you seem very tense.
I always have something in my bag that helps me to go straight. Like a chair or something. What time is it?
What else? What else do we need to know about you? What? Tell me more about Daniela, or your old self, or other self. Tell me more. Or not. Like, I just really want to help you in whatever way that I can.
Should I talk about
Just talk about something.
like religion stuff?
Sure.
Okay. Well,
But you have to speak up so that I can hear you.
I was raised in a Catholic family. Most Hispanics are Catholics. So, yeah, I was raised Catholic. Didn't know there was like conservative or progressive side of it. Didn't know much about other denominations. I did my confirmation in a Catholic church. I did my baptism. I did my communion, all that stuff. And I used to volunteer at the Catholic church here in Southern California, in LA. I was helping the youth in catechism. And I enjoyed that part. But when I realized that I was a transgender woman, I came out in my church, and they didn't take it very well. They actually told me that I could not volunteer because they don't want to lose more members. So it's better if they don't let me volunteer. I can still come into the worship service on Sundays, but not be part of it. And for me, a church is a part of community. Yeah, I do go to Sundays, but I also like to be part of the church community during the week. So that's when I stopped being Catholic. At the time, I used to live in North Hollywood, and I searched on Google LGBTQ friendly churches near me. So I know there has to be a LGBTQ friendly church somewhere. I noticed the first one was a Lutheran church. Then I became Lutheran for a long time until like May of last year, when I had a therapist who recommended me to go to All Saints in Pasadena, which is an Episcopal church. At the time I was looking for a new church, so I went to All Saints and I found that this church is very LGBTQ friendly. So I started being more part of it, and I identify myself now as an Episcopalian. Sometimes on Sundays I go to like different churches just to do activism, like trying to see how friendly they are towards the LGBT community.
How does that work?
Well,
because I mean, please don't take this the wrong way, but if I was just to see you, I would just assume you were a cis man, despite your hat. I would just think maybe you're gay or something, like just from visual first view, you know. So how does that work? Like, do you just go in there and you just start telling people you're trans, or do you just go in your normal very unisex outfit. Like how does it work? Please enlighten me.
Well, yeah, I do show up in very unisex clothing, and
Do you usually have the facial hair too?
sometimes, sometimes I wear dresses. Sometimes depends how early I showed up to the church. Um, but I just go to the church and see if I'm allowed to take communion. If there's other LGBTQ people allowed to be part of the church, like choir or whatever volunteer they want to do. I do listen to the preacher, their sermon, how adequate and how friendly it is. If it talks about the LGBT community, if it talks about the good way or the positive way. If it doesn't, then no, of course. But yeah, I go to many churches just to see how friendly they are, because some of them are more friendlier than others.
Why?
Well, it depends if they want to be, how friendly they want to be.
No. I'm asking you why you do it. What's the reason behind going to a bunch of different churches to investigate their allyship?
Well, if an LGBTQ person wants to go to that church, they can see how friendly they are.
Okay, but if you're that person, are you writing a report on that? Are you writing a review on Google? How is that information getting to those other people if that's a safe, affirming church? Do you know what I'm asking? Because you see how that's a weird thing to just do? Like, to me, it almost sounds like you're trying to punish yourself. Like, you've already found a place that, like, fully accepts you for all of you, or as you show up. And, like, you're still searching around to, like, try to be denied. To me, that sounds like you're actively trying to go through some shit. Like, I don't know. It just blows me away. I don't get it.
Well, I do that to help others, to see if they want to be in that church.
Okay, yeah, but you do it to help others, but how are you helping others by doing that?
Well, they do contact me, or like, hey, can you go to this church to see how friendly they are?
Who contacts you?
Not people.
Who's your people?
Random, I guess. That they're part of the LGBT community. And they're looking for like a home church.
I'm so confused. Like, there's so many holes in this story. Who is sending you to random churches to go get punished for being, I guess, openly trans? I don't know.
Well, I don't see
Do you see the inconsistencies in this story here? Like, you just show up and, like, unless you're like outwardly, I hate to say it because, you know, it's fucked up to say it, but like, unless you're like outwardly trans or visibly or verbally saying like, hey, I'm trans, blah 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 blah, and you're like saying it to every single person you meet, like, I just wouldn't assume that out of you.
I don't see like I'm punishing myself.
You're going into these places to see if you'll be accepted.
We're pretending that I'm looking for a home church.
Why? But why? Why would you do that?
I guess to help others.
No, you're dancing around the fucking question. Answer the fucking question, please. Like, be real. Be real with me. Like, don't stop fucking looking at the dog. Look at me.
It's a cute dog though.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about this. We're having a conversation. I don't care about that stupid dog. You brought this up. you're going to random churches to see if they're accepting of you being trans or LGBT, but like unless you're outwardly like saying, hey, I'm queer, I'm trans, I just don't see them saying, like, doing anything weird about you unless it's just your internal feeling. Do you understand what I'm getting at? Like, do you not see this disconnect? Surely you have to see some of the disconnect here. Who is sending you to this? Like, who is doing this to you? Like, who is making you do this, or who is asking you to do this? I'm a very outwardly open trans woman, and I've never had anyone asking me to go to other fucking churches to see if they're trans friendly. Like, who is telling you to do that? And is that something you've done at the church that I go to? Should I be weary of you? Like, how much of you is real?
Well, no, at those things, no. I went there just to find out if I was looking for a home church at that time.
Were you? Because it sounds like you're always looking for a home church. Sounds like you're always looking for a home church that's going to tell you can't be yourself.
I only have one home church. Not looking.
But yet you're going to different churches like every week.
Yeah.
To see if they're queer friendly. Why? Why?
It's just a hobby of mine.
You said somebody was asking you to do this, and you're doing this to help other queer people.
Yeah,
How the fuck does it help queer people? Tell me. Just give me a direct fucking answer. Don't dance around it. Don't beat around it. Just tell me the fucking answer. Be direct with me. Be real. Who is sending you to these things? Should I be concerned? Should I be worried? Like, should I be worried about my own safety? I'm dead serious here. Should I be?
Well, not really.
What's that supposed to mean, not really? Like, just give me a real fucking answer. Be direct with me, please.
Just random people contact me.
Don't give me that shit. Don't give me that bullshit.
I don't know them, basically.
Then why the fuck would you listen to them?
I don't know them personally, but yeah.
Then who are they? What's the organization? Obviously you work for them in some capacity. You know of them, or you know of whatever they're fucking trying to do, because you're agreeing to go along with it. You don't agree to go along with shit unless you fucking know something about it, or you're fucking stupid. So what is it? Who is it? Why? How? I don't know why you're laughing. I'm serious. Like, I'm dead fucking serious right now. That's not something people just do. People don't just go to random churches to see if they're accepting. And if that's your idea of a hobby, like, what the fuck? Are you gonna say something, please? Like, why are we even doing this if you're not gonna talk?
Well, the reason why I do that is because I want to, like, whenever I get my bachelor's and my master's, I want to, like, help churches to be more LGBTQ friendly than they already are, or try to be as LGBTQ friendly. So I have to, like, see how friendly they are first.
But you said somebody's sending you there. Who is sending you there?
Something to do, something like just.
And
go.
if this is like when you're graduating and like years in the future, like, how is this helping people now, currently? Because that's what you made it sound. You make it sound like you're helping people currently in the current situation. And if you're out there like saying like, oh, I'm trans woman, but like not like being fucking trans woman, like that's kind of a bad look. Do you understand that? Especially given the political climate these days. Like, if you are claiming to be trans woman, you are representing trans women everywhere. And you're either showing that we're fucking weak and scared, or I don't know. And I don't know. To me, it's not a good look for a trans woman to be going to fucking churches trying to stir up shit. Even if you're not actively stirring up shit. For some secret organization and your own personal gains in multiple years when you graduate. Which who even knows if those programs are going to be around by then. Thoughts, opinions, concerns, questions? Letting it sink in.
I also go to PFLAG. Help parents understand more about the LGBT community.
But you don't even understand the LGBTQ community. How are you helping them? You can't even do yourself. Help your fucking self, you donut. You're teaching them that it's okay to be scared. How is that okay? You're teaching them it's okay to live a double life. You're teaching those parents that it's okay for their kids to live a double life and go home and be themselves, or be some secret person or whatever, and then go out and live. Like, that's what you're doing. Do you not see that? Like, I love that you're out and you're proud and stuff, but like, you're also not. It just, like, it feels fake to me sometimes. And I don't want to be that person that's like, you know, I don't want to be that person that's gatekeeping, but sometimes it feels fake to me. And I feel like that's fucked up. I feel like that's so fucked up for me to say. That's fucked up for me to feel that way, but like, I just don't understand how you can go through all of the legal processes that you've gone through. You've gone through them, even if you're not fully doing it, but you've done like medical treatments and stuff. Like, you were so sure of yourself, I guess. Like, are you really sure of yourself? Are you really a trans woman, or are you just someone who's confused and unsure of yourself, who you are deep down inside? Is this just something that somebody's told you are? I've heard people tell me their therapists have told them they're trans and that's just an easy way out. I've heard that. Is that it? Like, I don't know. Just say something. Stop making me say a bunch of fucked up shit. Because I feel like I'm going to keep saying a bunch of fucked up shit. And I'm not meaning it that way. Like, it feels performative to me. I don't understand how you can be very vocal about being an advocate, but yet not doing the work. You know? Does that make sense? Please respond to me.
I mean, Yeah, in some way.
Which ways? Which ways does that make sense? And which ways does it not make sense?
I always been like, I help others more than I help myself first.
What good is that supposed to do?
A little relief.
And anything else? Or what didn't make sense or catch on? Or is there anything that I'm wrong on? Like, please talk with me. Say something. Give me ideas. Ask me questions. Like, I feel like I'm just being mean to you. But I'm just trying to be honest with you. Like, this is how I'm seeing things from my perspective. Like, I've known you almost a year now. And
Yeah, it's only been like, what, 10 months? No.
whatever, almost a year. Close enough.
But you do see me like every week.
I see you fairly frequently.
So it does feel like that we know each other for like more than 10 years. Even though it's only been like 8 or 9 months.
So who are you? Maybe I'll just leave you with that question today. Who are you? Like, really? And then I want you to like really think about, once and if you come to that conclusion, like, how are you going to take care of that person or yourself? How are you going to take care of yourself and give them a nice space to live in? Like, how are you going to support that individual, that's yourself? How are you going to support yourself so that you can thrive? Because you're clearly not doing it now. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. And I mean that in like the nicest mean love kind of way possible. You know I care about you, right?
Yeah.
And I know this probably sounds really harsh. I feel like it does, because I feel it in my bones. I feel like I'm being really harsh with you. But like, these are a lot of questions that I've asked myself. These are a lot of things that I've gone through. So I'm just wondering, like, where are you at? Like, in that process, like, to me it's wild to just jump into legal name changes and hormones without doing any research or any like foresight or thought on that. Like, to me that's crazy. And then to like do it and then to not enforce it with people, because like legally it's your fucking name. So it's like legally you can tell your mom and dad, like, legally you need to call me this. It's legally my fucking name. This isn't my name anymore. This is my name. Look on this piece of paper. This is factual. I was on hormones for almost 3 years before I got my name changed legally. Like, this is recently. That was a big deal for me. That wasn't just something I just did off the drop of a hat. Like, for me, it meant a lot. I had to work up to that shit. I couldn't just do it. Like, I just don't know. I don't know how you can just drop... How do you drop things or just do something like that with no thought behind it?
trying to figure out the answer for him.
You know, getting a name change is quite a process. It's not something you just like fill an online form out and it just happens. Like, you have to like literally fill out documentation, take it to the fucking courthouse, wait for the court to, you know, file the petition, and that takes several months, you know, and then you have to, at least in California, and you have to go to get your social security and then your driver's license. Like, it's a process. So just, how do you do that so willy-nilly and then not, like, stick to your guns? Because, like, when I'm doing it, I'm so fucking sure of it. I know what I'm doing. I know exactly why I'm doing it. And it means a lot to me. So for people to not respect that aspect of me, like, fuck that.
I guess I'm okay with just my parents doing it once on a regular basis. To continue, I guess, they're naming me.
Are they dead naming you, or are you letting that dead name still live?
Well, I don't have a choice. I have to let them do that. They're not willing to change or, you know, educate it or anything.
So when are you going to advocate for yourself? Because those queer people or those trans people that you talk about wanting to save and help and all this other fun, great stuff, like, the way I see it, you are the one suffering. You are the one that needs help. And I've been the one trying to help you. You are the one struggling. You are the one that needs help. Stop trying to help people. You help yourself, and that helps others. By helping yourself. It's stupid sounding, but it's true. You help yourself, and just by a miracle, it starts to help other people.
There's a limit of much I can do to do self-care. I can't do all 100%.
Speak louder, please. But what are self-care things that you can do? I could think of like a few of them that are like really important that, like, to me are no-brainers.
Try to be consistent with the medications.
That's a very good one. Be consistent with your medication. Why aren't you consistent with your medication? Do you care about yourself? Do you care about your health?
I just keep forgetting about it, I guess.
That's a no.
I guess the older I get, the more easily forget.
Don't even give me that. It's because you don't care. Why don't you care? I care more about you taking your meds than you care about you taking your meds. Why? Why is that? Why do you even go to the doctor to get the meds if you're not going to take them?
I do want to take them.
Do you?
Yeah.
When was the last time you taken your meds?
That's a good question.
You're thinking about it way too long. You don't want to take your meds. You don't care about taking your meds. If you cared, you would take your meds. If you actually cared and you cared about yourself and your health and your well-being, you would take your fucking meds. Please, I'm asking you and begging you, take care of yourself. No, don't look at the dog, look at me. Don't look over there, look at me. Put your blinders on.
Like a horse with the
Take care of yourself, please. I'm asking you, I'm begging you, please
It's a little weird.
take care of yourself. Please. You know, I'm forgetful on my medication sometimes, but you better be damn sure I'm taking the next fucking dose. If I miss medication, it's like a dose, not like weeks at a time or months at a time. Especially with hormones, like, you can't be fucking around with your hormones like that. That really fucks with your head and your brain and your body and everything. Like, hormones need to be consistent. And if it's something that like makes you happy and feel better, like, why the fuck are you taking it? For me, when I take estradiol, it was just like a, you know, this big amount of like weight on my shoulders and my head that's been swirling around for my whole fucking life. As soon as I took that half a tab, gone. I never want to not take that fucking pill, or in some form of injection or patch or gel or whatever. Like, I would never want to give that up. Ever, ever, ever. Even if I was identifying as somebody else, like, I would still want to be doing that part. Because it makes me feel good mentally inside. Everything else for me is bonus. Everything else is bonus. All I wanted was that mental calm. And that's what I get from it. That's why I keep remembering to take care of it, or take it, because I care about myself. I care about my well-being. So why don't you take it? Why don't you take your meds? Do you have reminders on your phone? Set some reminders, set some alarms.
I do.
Then why don't you take them? Is there some fear between taking your medicine? Like, what's the fear? Like, what's the holdup? Like, answer me. Like, give me some kind of feedback.
Well, it's not fear. It's just sometimes I feel like it hurts taking those medications. Not just HOT, but a lot of other medications as well.
It hurts to take medications.
Yeah, sometimes that upsets my stomach. Especially a lot of them at a time.
Well, I know for one of your pills you've definitely been taking wrong. So that's probably part of that. I know with your estrogen, you should definitely be splitting that shit apart into at least AM, PM, not all at once. For any of the listeners here on the Curi-YAAS podcast, if you don't know and you're taking the blue estradiol pills, the tablets, they are meant to be taken sublingually under your tongue and dissolve. And you should probably split them up throughout the day. So yeah, you should do that. So yeah, anyway, please, 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 take your fucking meds. Some meds might make you not feel great, especially at first, but like sometimes your body has to like build some kind of a tolerance to it, or like has to like build up in your system. Whenever I started taking Zoloft, it took a while for that stuff to like, for my body to regulate to it. I had some immediate side effects, like I had immediate like, I would sweat a lot when I sleep. I don't have that problem now because I've just gotten used to it. It's gone away, but I take this stuff pretty consistently. And you know what's really good about helping dysphoria? If that's something that you suffer with?
What?
Just take a guess. Take a guess.
What, the medication?
Yeah, the medication that helps. I don't want to be a trans medicalist, but you know, if you're prescribed it and you have it, that's something that you could do within your power. And still live double life if you have to. But at least you'd get some mental peace of mind if that's the direction that you want to go in your life. But that's something you need to like think about. And like whichever way you decide to go down, I'm gonna love you and support you. But please just put some thought into this stuff. And take care of yourself. You okay?
Yeah.
What's on your mind? What are you thinking about?
A bit hungry.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna leave it at that then. Just please think things through. Take care of yourself. And take your fucking meds if that's something that makes you feel better. Even if it's not the immediate, the long term matters more sometimes than the short term. So anyway, on that note, if you would like to say goodbye to the podcast, that'd be cool.
Well, thank you for everyone listening.
Likewise. So this has been today's special episode of the Curi-YAAS podcast, the podcast that celebrates cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender. I guess we didn't even really talk about cross-dressing much. I guess you didn't really have a whole lot of experience with that. I don't know, maybe we'll talk another time. Hopefully you'll have more to say instead of me just like going down your throat, because I feel like I've just been jumping down your throat this whole time. And I mean all this with the utmost respect and love. And I really mean, like, whatever decision you decide, like however you I support you and I love you. But just take care of yourself. And that goes for you, Curi-YAAS listeners or watchers. You need to take care of yourself as well, but especially you. Okay, not on that note. Bye. I'm not here to diagnose or treat anything. I'm just here to tell my story about cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender, to help others hear my story and other stories and all that other fun stuff. And I already forgot what this outro was because I haven't done it in a year. But yay! And I just wanted to remind you that I'm not here to diagnose or treat anything or anybody. I'm here to go on the podcast, share my story, have others come on the podcast, share their story, to help others learn about the world of cross-dressing, sexuality, and gender a bit more.